Okay, everybody, so here we have example 9.2, or number 1 from assignment 9.2, and I'm going to work this one out for you. And again, your assignment is to pick 2 from assignment 9.2. I don't care which ones you do, but pick 2 that aren't number 1. So again, we're given the key of G major, all right, and they actually give you the first couple of the first note, first chord, so it's our job to figure out the rest of these chords. And again, it's easy to do because we just have to stick in the key of G major and look at the bass line. All right, so we have an E, which in the key of G major is a 6 chord, so it's going to be small 6, minor 6. And then we have another E again. All right, so again, another minor 6. And then here, surprise, surprise, we get a first inversion. So now we know that this bass is first inversion, all right? So looking at it, we've got a B natural, so we've got to think that the root is going to be G, right? Coming right under it. So we've got a 1/6 chord here, because the real root of the chord is the G, even though the bass is the B, which is the third of the chord. All right? And then here, again, we get another 6th chord, so we look at up here we've got E, so we have to assume that we're going to have C as the root of our chord, right? So, and if you look at C compared to G major, that's going to make it a 4/6. So major 4/6. And then we move to a 4 chord, which is already given to us, but you can see there's the A, or the C that would normally be there in root position, but since we're in first inversion, you get the E in the bass instead. And then finally, last but not least, we've got a G and a B. So our G chord ends on 1, all right? So a couple more elements to deal with here. So let's get started, huh? They've already given us the first chord to work with, so nothing we can do about that. We can't change it. We can follow the general rules. So if we are moving down by a third, moving in a third in any direction in the bass, right? You want to hold on to the two notes that are going to be the same. So if we've got a 6 chord, our chord is going to be E, G, B, right? So these are the notes we have to work with. You can see the soprano is already held over the G, or the B, sorry, that's a B. And then we need to hold over this G as well. So we're going to hold over both the chords. And then we've got this E. We've got to do something with the tenor here. So it's either got to go all the way down to E, which is kind of a huge jump, or we can move it to the nearest, what you want to do is move it to the nearest note, right? So in this case, it's going to either be, it's probably going to go down to B, all right? So it can either go down to G, down to E, right? So we've got a D, or another option is you can move it up to E here. All right? So that moves it in stepwise motion from D to E. So that's a nice move right there. Okay? Now our next move, we've got the same chord. So frankly, you can just fill it in again. Just do the same thing. Technically, these are perfect unisons, but they don't count since the chord isn't actually moving in any other direction. So this is kind of like playing the equivalent of a half note, all right? So this is okay if it all stays, if it all moves the same, all right? And the reason why we know it's the same is because the bass note has got to be the same. Now, if you want to get fancy, you could do some exchanging and move these voices around. But generally, you want to stick with the rules of good voice leading. So if you can hold on to notes, hold on to them. All right, moving on. We're moving into our 1/6 chord. So this isn't a diminished 7 first inversion or a diminished 2 first inversion. So we don't have to worry about any of those doubling things. We just have to worry about ideally doubling the bass. So let's see. So our chord, it's a good old 1 chord, so G, B, D. All right. And notice we are dropping by a fourth. So if we can hold on to one of the chords, then we will. And in this case, we've got the G and the B technically in common. So let's hold on to our G. And then our other rule is, if you can at all, double the bass note. Now that's not the tonic, this is the actual bass note, so the third of the chord, the B, then you should do so. So let's have our tenor go down to a B. Just like that. All right? Okay, so our next chord is a 4 chord. It is a 4 first inversion, all right? So we've got C, E, and G as our options. Now I've already got E covered, although we do want to try to double that since it's the first inversion. And so we need to cover A. We definitely need an A. Is there anything, we can't hold anything over, right? Even though we're moving in a perfect fourth. So what we want to do ideally is have all of the notes move downward, right? In contrary motion. So let's see if we can do this. So this is perfect. The tenor can jump down to the A. Very good. All right, and let's see, and then we'll have the alto jump down to E. All right, just like that. And then our E gets doubled. Perfect. All right, so our next chord is an actual legitimate 4 chord. It's all filled in for us. We don't have to worry about that. It's kind of a jump for the tenor, but shh. All right, and then finally we just have to fill in this last chord. So we have, let's see, we've got our 1 chord, so our G, B, D. All right, so let's see what we can do. Wait, why did I do this as an ACE chord? I'm not really sure. But it should be a C, E, G. I'm an idiot. So this A isn't going to work, obviously. But the only thing we have to worry about is the C. Let's see. So we've got C. We want to try to double the E still. We've got the E doubled. So we need to fill in a G. So we'll just have tenor go down to a G, or we can get rid of the G because it's just a fifth, it's not a big deal, and we can have him pop back up to the E. It might be more effective, less of a leap from here to here. That might be better voice leading, all right? So we're sort of we're not even technically breaking the rule, but this is probably better voice leading. We change that E. All right, that was an easy fix. All right, so finally our last chord, we've got G, B, D. So let's move, we're gonna try to double the bass. So let's get another G in there so we can keep this. We're moving up a fifth, so if you can keep a note, keep it. So we'll keep our G in the alto, and then we've got our G doubled right here. We've got a B, so we just need either a D or a B, and we'll have just the tenor move down to D, stepwise. Beautiful. So that's 9.2, the first one done for you. And then finally, last but not least, we'll do 9.3.